Hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine, good morning, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. I created the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes, and it works on every size cube, as long as it's n by n by n, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, 10 by 10, works on all of them, using just these two formulas, Formula A and Formula B. Formula A is 4 moves. Those moves are usually the bottom row and the right column. We don't use standardized notation. We don't have to memorize algorithms. We just look at the front of the cube as if it were a spreadsheet with columns and rows. And 4 moves is Formula A, 8 moves is Formula B. In Formula A is like I said, the bottom row and the right column, or if you're dealing with the absolute center, you apply it to this, you move this piece away, the space down, the cube into the space and back up again, and that's how you get boxes, that's how you fix boxes. And then let's do this again. Let's line up the 3 colors that you're working with, and out, down, in, up, and again out, down, in, up. Let me get rid of some pop-ups here. Good morning. Hi. Okay, so Formula A, Formula B. Formula B is 8 moves, and it always uses the top row and 2 columns. The 2 columns that you use determine what you're moving. Formula B moves 3 cubes around. If those columns are the outside, the left and the right, then top, first up, top, second up, top, down. You'll notice that every other line, every other horizontal is reversing the one before. When these are the 2 columns you use, it moves these 3 corners around. Again, if I do it 3 times, I get back to start because you're moving. Because of the mathematics of the cube. Okay, so that's Formula B if you use the outside columns. If you use an outside and an inner column for Formula B, say for instance this column and this column, up, down, down, you've just moved these 3 cubes and nothing else. So when you're doing Formula B, you don't have to worry about messing up anything that you're not trying to move, because it only moves 3 cubes. So it doesn't matter whether your corners are first or your corners are last, they're done the same way. It doesn't matter whether so you don't have to worry about, which order do I do things. It really doesn't matter, except for the centers. When you have a larger cube like this, when the 2 columns are the inner columns, first up, second up, first down, second down, then you're moving the inner pieces around. Up, down, down. So Formula A and Formula B move whatever you want to move, and it is always the only exception for displacing cubes you've already used is if you happen to have a parity. Parities have long, complicated algorithms, many of them, depending on which parity shows up, which are all unneeded, because a parity is always caused by one thing. It's always if there's ever looks like there's 2 pieces that are where each one wants to be. So for instance, if this one wants to be here and this one wants to be here because it's flipped, or if this piece wants to be here. It doesn't matter where the two pieces are. It's always two pieces. The third piece that you're not seeing is the piece you're not seeing. It's the center. So 1/4 turn, and then and then the parity is undone. You now have 3 cubes to move instead of 2, and you can move those cubes. And when you finish solving those, the parity is gone. The parities are always undone by a single 1/4 turn and the resolve, which will displace the edges, the centers, if you've done centers first. So that's why I always do centers last. Also because the corners, all of the cubes have 8 corners to use, so we start there. And again, it works. And we have a visitor. We have a kitty cat. Kitty, what are you doing? Hi, what are you doing? This is Fluffer Bunny. He's my assistant. It's a kitty cat, not a bunny, sorry. Where's you going? Where's you going? What you done? What you got? Kitty. Kitty, there you are. Hello, beautiful kitty. Are you so pretty? Hi. Hi. Oh, yes. Are you so pretty? Are you so pretty? Hi. What you got? What you got? Yeah. You wanna... Kitty. Kitty. You're so pretty. Hi. Clearly, kitty pets are more important than twisting the Rubik's Cube. All right, kitty. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi. Can I get back to work? Step. Oh. Okay. Well, here's a good time to talk theory rather than showing the cubes. How did I come up with my formulas? I have been teaching Rubik's cubes since they first came out in the early 80s, but not my own formula. I found a book and memorized it. It was called Simple Solution to Rubik's Cubes, and it was not by Seeing Master. No, I don't remember. Where is it now? I usually have it right here beside me. So I bought the book, memorized it, just like everyone, everyone had a cube. And if you could solve the cube back then, it was, oh, you're a genius. But I bought the book, memorized it, solved the cube. And then I would, anytime I was walking with the cube, strangers would come up to me and say, hey, did you take the stickers off, or did you take it apart and put it back together again? Because clearly that's the only way to solve a Rubik's Cube. And so I'd say, no, I can solve it. Really? No, let me show me. And they'd take my cube and twist it all up for me and give it back. And of course they thought I was they're like, you'll never solve this one because I'm going to twist it so hard. As if I had to figure out what they'd done and reverse it. It's like, nope, don't have to do that. Sorry, this kitty is so cute. Don't have to do that. Oh, it's so cute. So I thought it was pretty good. If you just to solve the cube was all that. This is before the first world record was held. And I would time myself. I was about between 3 to 5 minutes for solving the cube, which, considering nobody could solve the cube, was pretty good. But once you've solved the cube, what do you do with it? Well, you either go faster or you create patterns. I created patterns. But most importantly, what I had fun with was people would say, hey, can you teach me? And I'm like, absolutely, I can teach you. And so they would bring their cubes to school, and I would, during every recess, every lunchtime, I was surrounded by people. My friends all had cubes, and so they're like, show me what to do. And I'd, okay, the next step is this, the next step is this, the next step is this. And they, while they were doing it, someone else would have their cube in my face saying, what do I do? And it's this step. And then they're like, hey, this is my friend so-and-so, will you teach them too? I'm like, sure. And then it was like, their friends, hey, this is my friend so-and-so, will you teach him too? And I'm like, sure. And then the thing was, because I was a nerd, I was mildly bullied, not physical bullying, but psychological bullying. You're ugly, your mother dresses you funny, and that kind of thing. And one day, the bullying just stopped, and about 3 or 4 days later, the bullies were coming up to me and saying, hi, will you teach me too? And so I'm like, sure. And that was how I survived middle school, was by teaching the cube. But it was fun for me. And then the first world record came. It was just the United States, wasn't the world record yet. And Jeffrey Verasano, my age, solved the Rubik's. It was, what was it, 23 point something seconds, which was insanely fast. Yes, I know the world record has been beaten again by Max, which when I told my roommate, she's like, how rude of him that he wasn't just a scotch slower, so that he could be 3.14 instead of 3.13, because it'd be cool if it was pi. So, hi. Oh, are you? I'm sorry. Don't hit me. So I put the cube down for a month. I was so frustrated because I'm like, there's no way. Of course, back then they did not have speed cubes. It was just Rubik's, and it was just all clunky. Just took 2 hands to make a turn, no finger tricks. And Jeffrey Verasano, I am Facebook friends with him. He's a fascinating man. Runs a pizzeria now, and still plays with the cube when people come in with their cubes. And so that was fun. And then the 4x4 came out, and I got it and tried to figure it out. Of course, there weren't any books, and this was before the internet. And so I tried to figure it out, and I got halfway solved on my cube. And, like 2 layers. And then my cube broke. And it had taken months of pleading to get my dad to buy that one, and I didn't. It wasn't. I could not find another one. Could not replace it. So I just had this unsolved problem in my head for I don't know how long, which was very frustrating to me. Then of course came the 5 in the pocket and other sizes. And I picked the cube up again. Hi, you're so pretty. Picked the cube up again, and I was trying to figure out how to solve. I mean, I figured I could figure it out. I watched tutorials, figured out how to do most of it, but I could not figure out the centers. Oh, did I touch the wrong spot? You're a good kitty. Hi. It's okay. You don't have to threaten me. I'm okay. I won't hurt you. You're okay. You're okay. So that's how I came up with the Formula B. I got a formula for solving the centers, and couldn't follow it in my head, so I had to write it down in arrows to see how it worked, and figured out that it was just these 8 moves, and said, well, gee, I wonder what happens if. This is what happens when those moves are in the center. What happens if I do that on a 2x2? And so I used those 8 moves on a 2x2, and it moved corners. And I said, well, what happens if I do it here? And it moved edges. And I'm like, oh, well, all of these algorithms that I've memorized are not necessarily, how much of this cube can I do with just these? And so I started to see, what I could do, and it took me a couple of years to figure out that I could solve the entire cube and all of the cubes with just these 2 formulas. And I'm like, well, the hardest part was not doing the patterns that I knew, because I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's only these. I know how to solve this. I just do this algorithm. And it's like, well, but I'm writing a book. If I use this algorithm to solve the cube, then I have to put that algorithm in the book. Well, so maybe, can I do it this way? And, you know what? Kitty just found the cursor on the screen. Says, "Ooh, I will eat it. I will get it. Get it. Get it. The cursor. Get it. Ooh, get it. There it is, right there. Get it. There's a cursor. Get it. Right there. Go. Get it. Up. Get it. Down. You're so funny. Are you a funny kitty? Get it. Get it. Yes, okay. You're a good kitty. So anyway, finished it with a 3x3. I'd say, here. You don't solve cubes. Here's a cube. Here's my book. My pages, my manuscript. Tell me where it doesn't make sense, and then I'd rewrite it after they tell me, this was confusing, and I need more words here, or whatever, and then I couldn't market it because everyone has a 3x3 book, and it's all and there's free YouTube, and who are you that someone would buy a book from you? So I rewrote it over the next 5 years, and published it online as a 5x5 solution, as a beginner solution for the 5x5. And they're like, why would anyone have a beginner solution for a 5x5? Just learn the 3x3 and then the 4x4 and then this and this and this and reduction method. And I'm like, no. So, my friends would come to me, people would come to me at church, and they're like, hey, I'd have a 7 in my hand or something. They're like, can you really solve that? I'm like, I can teach you to solve that. They're like, oh, I can't solve the cube. I'm like, come see me. And so they'd come over on their day off, and I would take about an hour just teaching them just the corners. Here's the corners. Just give them put all 4 cubes down on the table. And, hey, I'm talking here. Hi. And so good, you did the corners, because A and B, A brings the color to the top, B moves them around, A brings the color back to the top again, and then you've got it done. And flip them over to the bottom, do the second 4 corners the same way, and you've done the corners. And then so they'd do the corners, and I'd take that cube out and give them a different one, say, here, do the corners again, and here, do the corners again. So they got the idea that the corners are the same no matter what cube you have, so the bigger cubes were not intimidating. And they would, you're so pretty, yes you are. You're so pretty. You're such a beautiful distraction. And so then they're like, well, we have to go now, thank you. And I'm like, okay, little 2 minutes. Okay, well, here, Formula A, Formula B. If you apply Formula B, to the sides and edges, to the sides and middle, you get edges moved around. And if you apply them to the two centers, then you get centers moved around. So I'd play with that and see what you come up with. And then they would come back a week later, and they're like, we got this far. What do I do now? I'm like, awesome. And it would usually, if it was a large cube, it was a parity. And if it was a small cube, then it would be, where two edges are flipped, but they're in the right place. And so I would just walk them through either the center turn for the parity or the just Formula B, flip the top, Formula B again. And then we would just play for the rest of the hour. And so consistently, they would, I would be able to, I'd say 2 hours because it was 2 hours that they would spend, but really it was only about an hour and a half. And then when they left, I'd give them a cube. And so, whichever cube they wanted, and some of them would go with a mini cube, and some of them would go with someone took my 6x6 because, once you've done my method and you realize, that there's nothing more to learn, then the larger cubes are not intimidating. So, and then every time one of them would transfer out, the other one, they would come in and yell, hi, we have someone new. Would you like to teach them? They want to learn the cube too. Can you teach them too? And I'm like, sure. And so, so that was fun for me. And proof that it was working. So now I am again, long story short, I am again looking for an agent. This time I want the agent, because I had a publisher, and I thought I had a publisher, and he's like, great, it's done. Okay, now you just need to give me $5,000 and we'll take the next steps. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. And they just wanted to walk me through self-publishing. And I'm going, I know cubes. I don't know publishing. I want you to get my book into libraries and bookstores. And so having published online, I also made a comment. I made pages for myself at ABCube, speedsolving.com, I think it is. And then I went to the Wikipedia page for the Professor's Cube and added my formula there as well as one of the solutions for the 5x5. Because, I believe I have a competitor now, but at the time there were no beginner solutions for 5x5. So I'm like, this is the only beginner solution for the 5x5. But it works on every cube, not just the 5x5. Kitty, come on, I'm running out of words. You gotta move. Hi. 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 Is you so pretty? Is you so pretty? Yes, you're okay. Pretty cat. So I want a publisher who will partnership with the toy company, someone who produces the. Sorry, I'm moving the mouse around and Kitty's going, oh, I'm going to get it again. I'll leave it alone so that you can ignore it. Okay. I want to sell the book with the learning cubes, the 2, 3, and 4, and 5 together. Because what good is a Rubik's Cube book if you don't have a cube in your hand? And what good is a book that teaches more than just the 3x3 if all you have is the 3x3? So I want to do that. I'm looking for preparing to find an agent. And I'm also wanting to, I want to put together a poster. I want to put together maybe some merch. I want to put together like a keychain. Because once you've learned the ABCube method, it just fits on a keychain or a card. You don't have to carry around cheat sheets like these. These are I got these from one of the cube stores. This is the F2L method. This is the cheat sheet for the F2L, where you have to learn all of these things. Or you can just learn Formula A, Formula B, and it doesn't matter which order you do it with. It's the same whether it's first or last, whether you've done the corners first or whether you've done the corners last. I work on it from the outside in. And in the meantime, I'm going to, I have a Zoom as well. Oh, sorry, I moved the mouse, honey. Sorry about that. I have a Zoom as well, and what I'm going to start doing on Saturdays is having people demonstrate the cube with me or learn the cube with me. I can be teaching up to 3 to 4 people at a time, and then just do a game capture from my Twitch so that I can incorporate the two of them and be actually teaching. That's the most fun for me, is actually teaching, because the way that people's eyes light up when it makes sense finally. It's like, oh, I understand. I can do that. That works. So I have fun with that. I enjoy that. That's what I want to do, is actually be teaching rather than just monologuing. So, hi. I'm supposed to be solving my cube right now, kitty. And so, all right, let's do that. We've done yesterday we did the corners. Okay, and I have been training my eyes to find the yellow and white to bring it to the top and settle it correctly. So I'm going to keep using yellow and white to find. And so I hold my cube with yellow and white left and right, and I look in the middle to see whether there are any yellow or whites. Start with the 4. So here's my yellows, here's my whites. They dictate the color that the cubes are going to be. You, kitty, are in just fine. You just stay right there and we'll just be fine. So, find a yellow or white. Hopefully the one with that's where your active color is on top. So I'm going to work with this cube right here. This is a white. The first step you do is have the white your color be on top. So if it's not, you have to flip the cube. But just as long as you keep the yellow and white left and right, you're good. So second corner, front color is red. Bring the corners together until they match the front color, which this one already does. You determine which direction it's moving. Can you still see? Okay. Determine which direction it's going. Its white side is this side, so it's going this direction. So we start by moving it away. Now the two columns for Formula B are. The second one is where the cube begins. The first one is where you want the cube to end up. So if I'm throwing it this way, then I start by moving away. But if I'm throwing it this way, I start by moving away. And then there's my first up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. Okay, so that one is placed. Here's another white or yellow. Colors on top, bring the corners together to match them. Determine which direction it's going. And then move it away. First up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. Okay, so these are, I'm going to flip the cube so that they're on top. Start with that one because it's already lined up. White is now in this direction, so I move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. You'll notice I'm not looking for where are my two white and blue pieces and then putting them together and then moving on. So I'm not using that time of looking for the pieces and pairing them up. I just find something that is in the middle where it's not supposed to be, and I just throw it into the direction of where it wants to be, and the cube places it. And if the cube they'll pair themselves up, I don't have to worry about that. And in not worrying about that, I am less likely to create a parity where one doesn't need to be. If you pair the edges up and then place them, you you increase the odds of having a parity, because you're treating them as one piece, and as one piece you can move it wrong. As two pieces, they can both play. They can place themselves just nicely. So again, white on top, corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Look for yellow and white. There's a white. It's on front. I want it to be on top, so I flip it. Yellow and white are still left and right. It's going, I match the corners to the front color, and it's going this direction. Up, up, down, down. Okay, and then just keep going for as long as there are yellow or whites in the middle area. Yellow and white are left and right. Match the corners to the front. Determine its direction and move it away. Up, up, down, down. And usually, I mean, there's going to be pieces off to the side that are like this one. This is off to the side, but it's incorrect. Now, usually, if I just keep placing pieces from the middle, they'll knock it out on its own. I don't have to worry about moving it. But if I get to where there's no more yellow or whites in the middle, then either the sides are correct or they have something misplaced. If it's misplaced, I just throw, for instance, okay, all right, this piece doesn't want to be here. Let's assume that I've run out of my yellow or whites in the middle, just to demonstrate, and so I'm going to move this piece. So away, up, in, this is my second up, away, down, back down, and put that into the center, into the middle area where I can work on it and I can displace it. Up, down, down, and I'm not spending time looking for a specific piece. I just find something that's wrong and throw it in the direction it goes, and find another piece that's wrong and throw it in the direction it goes. Line up the front, it's going that way, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. If you just joined me, welcome. I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. All Rubik's Cubes. So, yellow's on top, bring the corners to the front to match. It's going this way, so I move it away, first up, back, second up, first down, back down. Okay, so in yellow or whites, we're not looking for centers now, we're only looking at the edges. Away, up, in, second up, away, down, in, second down. Okay, there's no more yellow or whites on the edges, so I look, and they are indeed correct. If they were not, I would place a garbage piece, a non-white or yellow piece, into wherever the incorrect piece is, and then place it directly. So, yellow and white are left and right, side opposite edges are done. Again, yellow and white. Line up the corners to match the front color. There you are. Determine its direction. So this is the first column and this is the second column. I move it away, up, back, up, away, down, back, down. Set the middle and keep going. Okay, my active color is on the front, so I flip the cube so it's on top. Yellow and white are still left and right, doesn't matter which one. Bring the corners to match the front color. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Here's another one. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Throw it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Set the corners. Here's another one. Bring the corners to match the front. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. There's another one. Colors on front, I want it on top, so I flip the cube. Yellow and white are left and right. Let's go in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Set the middle, keep going. Okay, so there's no more yellows in the middle area. So I look, the whites are correct, the yellows are not. So I find a cube that's wrong, and I throw a piece into that place. Up, up, down, down, and now there's the yellow where I can work on it. Flip it. Yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front color. Put it where it goes. Up, up, down, down. Set the corners and keep going. All right, and one more. And when there's only one left, you don't have to actually do it, because your first step of solving the side edges is to displace the yellow into one of the side edges. So we'll just pretend that I've already done that. And now, so that's ready for the next step. Then your white goes down, yellow's on top, and you work with, again, you're moving from the top to one of the sides. Hold the whole cube. Bring the corners to match the front color. Determine which direction it goes. Formula B again to place it. And then you keep working with the the color that's not yellow on top. Now that yellow is going to bring itself back up to the top, and when it does, you look to see if the sides are done. And if they are, then everything's fine. But they're not done, so this one is incorrect. So this one is also incorrect. I'm going to displace this yellow again to work on that cube. Down. Okay, hold the top, rotate the cube until you're moving the corners match the front. Determine its direction. Up, up, down, down. Match the corners to the front. Determine its direction. Move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And there we go. There we have it. Thank you, Fluffer Bunny, for vacating. I'm going to, okay. So that's how you do the opposite edges. And it's the same, doesn't matter what size cube you're working on. This one does not have the edges done, so I can step back to that. All right. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, queries, posers, denials, opinions? Message me message me sometime before Saturday. I am abcube.how@gmail.com, and tell me you want to help me with my Zoom call, and you will be part of that on Saturday, or you can just watch it all here. But if you have someone who wants to learn, you can, most people I know, it's like, how do I learn the cube? Well, go watch YouTube, because that's how they did. But if you have someone who wants to learn, bring them to me. I know that I'm not the only teacher out there. We do it, but try me out. Show them JPerm and show them me, and see which is easier for a non-cubist to grasp the ideals. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful morning or evening or afternoon, whatever part of the world you're in. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Okay, I'm going to go have a day, and I'll be back here tomorrow. Just happy to see you guys. And I will be back here tomorrow. Goodbye.